This is KELOLAND television in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Channel 11, and it's time now for the KELOLAND News at 5 for this Tuesday, February 13th, 1996. Good evening, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins. Here's what's happening. In Des Moines, Iowa, Senate Majority Leader Bob Dole solidified his status as a GOP presidential frontrunner Monday night by winning Iowa's Republican caucuses. Television commentator Pat Buchanan ran a strong second, while former Tennessee Governor Lamar Alexander finished third in towns of Iowa. Republicans met to pick a GOP presidential nominee. Texas Senator Phil Gramm, who lost in Louisiana, was bogged down in the race for fourth with millionaire publisher Steve Forbes. I am deeply gratified with the strong support of Iowa voters, Dole told reporters now in New Hampshire on the road to concerted changes in the White House. For Dole, who has been the backing of a state Republican establishment and was a repeat of his 1988 Iowa victory, the Kansas senator, whose presidential candidacy faded 8 years ago after winning in Iowa, has also said the party officials regard it as the state's strongest political organization. With Dole's victory expected before the balloting took place, much of the evening focus was on the battle for second place, in which four of his rivals had hoped to gain valuable momentum for the next week's New Hampshire primary. Alexander reacted to his early returns, credited his apparent good show into a positive campaign message and the 80 days he spent campaigning in the state. Senator Dick Lugar of Indiana, radio talk show host Alan Keyes, Representative Bob Dorman of California, and businessman Maury Taylor were also seeking support. The caucuses also traditionally played an important role in narrowing the number of serious contenders, but most recent winners have failed to win the party's nomination. Washington, Baldwin Americans have been able to buy hair growth drug Rogaine by spring without stopping to see a doctor. The Food and Drug Administration decided Monday that Rogaine can be sold in drugstores among Baskin with shampoos and hair colorants, making it only medical proven drug to fight baldness available without a prescription. While the move means people can buy a little hope against hair loss for about $30 a month, not everybody should. Some 40 million men and 20 million women suffer hair loss. Most of the hereditary loss commonly known as male pattern balding. This is the only hair loss helped by Rogaine, which has been sold in prescription since 1988. In Pierre, a spearfish man has started a petition to put an initiative measure allowing for domestic partnership to a November ballot. In a response to a bill that already has passed the House, the bill defines marriage as a personal relation arising from a civil contract between a man and a woman, in a definition that excludes homosexual marriage. David Lord of Spearfish filed the petition in the Secretary of State's office on January 30th, the same day on which Representative Roger Hunt's bill to define marriage passed by the House 49-18. Members of the Senate Judiciary Committee voted on Monday to kill Hunt's bill, HB 1143. However, Senate supporters may have enough votes to force the committee to bring the bill before the full Senate for a vote. Petitions carrying 15,581 valid signatures of registered voters must be filed by May 7 in order for initiative measure to appear on a November 5th election ballot. Florida Black Hills State University student said the measure is modeled after a city ordinance in West Hollywood, California. He said the initiative measure is an attempt to compromise. Lord said he respects some of the arguments made for the traditional definition of marriage of a heterosexual, but he also believes opponents of Hunt's bill have legitimate concerns. Mr. Hunt's argument is that we have to protect the traditional definition of marriage. Lord said this protects the Christian concept of gay marriage, while ensuring that gay couples get some of the benefits of marriage. The initiative says domestic partners would be contractually obligated for providing for each other in a manner equivalent to that that exists to married persons. No domestic partner could be defrauded by the other partner, nor denied visitation by the partner at a health care facility. Prisoner in jail subject to ordinary restrictions. Any person denied those privileges could file a civil suit to recover damages. The initiator says that two persons may contract a domestic partnership if they are not related, they are at least 18 years old, neither is married to a third person, is a domestic partner of a third person, neither person is legally incompetent, and they share the common necessities of life. People who want to form a domestic partnership would have to create and execute jointly of a statement before the county's clerk of court. Domestic partnership could be terminated by filing another statement of the clerk of courts.
Also, some green line delays have eased out, so that's great news. They were impacting the E and the B branch. Those are no longer an issue.
In Pierre, the South Dakota House and Senate are now officially at odds over Governor Bill Janklow's plan to close the state development center at
despite the heavy wet snow,
Custer and transfer disabled patients to community centers. A resolution calling for keeping the center open
astounding.
In Custer failed on the 24-43 vote on Monday in the House. The vote was seen as an endorsement of the plan to close the center. The Senate last week approved the resolution when 4 Republicans joined the Democrats to support the continued operation of the Custer Center. Monday's votes in the House followed by party lines mostly as the Republican majority supported the governor's plan. That disagreement on the resolution means that Custer Center's fate will be decided probably until late in the legislature session when lawmakers vote on the proposed state budget for next year. Based on a recommendation of a task force, Jenklo has called for closing the Custer facility by June 30th and transferring to the severely disabled patients to 12 community facilities across the state. The community centers can care for the patients at a lower cost while still giving them care if good or better than they have received at Custer, he said. Jenklo also wants to convert the Custer Center into a juvenile reform complex that would operate a couple of programs for juvenile offenders. House Republican leader Larry Gabriel said that the vote sent a message telling the Appropriations Committee to write a state budget that closes Custer and shifts spin into a community centers. But Representative Bob Duxbury, Democrat of Westonton, said the plan to close centers was devised too quickly without any involvement by the legislature.
So this snow is going to get heavier as the night goes on, but you can see that.
Duxbury said that the staff members at both the Custer Center and the community facilities are dedicated and provided good care. Remember that care will be different, Duxbury said. For some it will be better, for some it will not be.
This is Southborough. People had to push this car. The problem is
Pierre, there will be good reason why the bill will eliminate the single-member House districts in District 20 that 34 Republican sponsors and not a single Democrat. Democrats such as an assistant House Minority Leader Vince Green, Democrat of Vermillion, will see the bill as an attempt to tighten Republican control over West River, country which rarely produces Democratic legislatures except with the backing of the American Indian voters. In 1991, District 28 was split into the 28A and 28B for the House races, making it the only district in which the voters do not select two will-elected representatives. District 28A, which includes the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation along Sheriff Stanton Rock Indian Reservation. The district includes all parts of the Corson, Dewey, and Tibet countries, all of which have more registered Democrats than Republicans in the 1994 general election. District 28A already has produced a Democratic legislature, Dean Shrimp of Lentry, elected in 1992. How tight is Republican control of the West River region? Consider this, there are only 3 Democrats elected from a district entirely west of the Missouri River, and they represent District 27, essentially the Pine Ridge and Rosebud reservations. 2 other Democrats were elected from District 25, which straddles the Missouri River, Bend River voters elect only 5 of the 40 legislature Democrats. There are 65 Republicans in the legislature. The Republicans have a 19-16 majority in the Senate and a 46-24 majority in the House of Representatives. State wide about 49% of the voters were registered in October 1994 were Republican, while about 41% were Democrats. About 10% were listed as over and 11% were Libertarian. 23 of the state's 66 countries have more Democrat voters than Republican voters, and 6 of those countries are west of the river. Pierre, the House turned down a bill on Monday that would give the school board to say whether the tax increment finance the district can be created in the district. Assistant House Majority Leader Steve Cutler, Republican of Claremont, argued that House Bill 1123 was unnecessary because the House last week passed a bill making sure that the school district can't lose any money when a TIF district was established. The vote was 44-25 against. House Bill 1123, last week's bill, HB 3062, enables the county auditor to automatically adjust taxes upward within the school district where a TIF is located. The law affects only TIF created since December 31st, 1994, so most of the 30 existing TIFs in cities are just Aberdeen are not affected. Jim Shunny, director at the Property Tax Division for the State Department of Revenue, said the state aid formula for education pays an difference in school districts where TIFs and established before its 1994 date. School districts lose no money before or after HB 3062. The difference is that the House bill passed the Senate that state will no longer fit the bill for economic development in individual school districts. Instead, taxpayers, 70% of those whose tax dollars go to support the local school will pay the difference. Local people get the benefits, so the local people will have to pay for it, Shadi said. Shadi said that HB 1362 passes the Senate will do for the TIF districts, which is already done in areas with discretionary formulas. This areas taxpayers pay slightly more taxes and make up for a portion of the taxes that is not collected for a new business industry. In the discretionary formula, a local government attracts business or industry by agreeing to tax property for a list that's true life for up to 5 years, often in the form of a phase-in or property taxes. A tax increment falling Nenton district in an area defined by the county or city for which a base value is set, the city or country then sets
Comprehensive look at the
and sells bonds for paid such as public improvements such as curb and gutter, water, sewer, and utilities. Industries that locate within the district pay taxes to the local school, district, county, and city on a base value that has been set. But the tax that they pay on an incremental or the increase in property value as the TIF district develops go to pay off the bonds and finance the infrastructure.
Cape Cod is under investigation.
Pierre, the legislature boot was appealed Monday to a bill seeking to make it
23 months.
grand theft when people steal farms spending balance in South Dakota.
The State Department of Children and Families was involved with this child since birth because his
Matthew, I'm ill, some okay?
abuse issues.
Yes.
DCF's recommendation
Matthew, I'm ill, some okay?
remove the boy who's
Doing some news.
existing medical conditions
What about Matthew? Bye.
and placed him here with relatives. The district attorney said the investigation showed no signs of significant.
The House Judiciary Committee killed the measure 76 primarily because a similar bill has passed the House and is being considered in the Senate.
And Mill Street.
Senator Mike Brown's Republican peer was in the prime sponsor of the bill that was eliminated. His measure would have made it grand theft to steal any gun that may be fired, but the committee unanimously removed that provision. The Senate bill does not say a gun must be in working order. Under current law, it is not grand theft until something worth more than $500 is stolen. Brown said there should be a heavier penalty to pay for the stealing a gun that works because many stolen guns are used to commit serious crimes. But some members of the Judiciary Committee said even non-working guns could be used for crimes such as assault and robbery.
The Family's Church. The small white casket of shooting victim Jean Marcos Pena was carried in by family and friends. The mother on the right had to be held up all morning. Police say her 9-year-old.
Pierce, Senator Jim Thompson of Watertown got so tired of the partisan wrangling over the bill last legislative session and he made a suggestion on the floor of the Senate. Why does everyone just read the bill and vote on its merits? The Senate grew very quiet. He remembers then one of the senators turned to me and said, Thompson, there is no room for independent thought in it. It's meant to be a joke, but Thompson said he took it seriously. That's why in the history in the second session of the legislature, Thompson has started a caucus for independent thinkers, and it meets 4 days a week over the noon hour to allow legislatures, lobbyists, and anyone else to talk about the upcoming bills. That's really the same thing that goes on during the Republican and Democratic caucuses held daily at 1 p.m. The caucus is a meeting in which party members discuss upcoming bills. The discussion of the difference by the party caucuses sometimes includes strategy, which is the way of the party that going to vote on an issue. Thompson, Republican, marvels how some bills that seem like their legislature can somehow turn the pitched battles into between the parties. He blames it on the caucus system, so this year, although he is a still Republican and he has attended the Republican caucuses and all, despite frequent invitations to come in back and join the game. Mike Wilson and try to get some of it from the Republicans. I'm trying to change the government, he said. Part of what he objected about the caucus system is that secretive, although the Democratic caucus is open to the public and the Republican caucus is not. And the Democrat can decide and even go in an executive session and exclude the public when they want to discuss the strategy. Thompson thinks that the caucus should be a nonpartisan work session where all the points of the bill can be discussed, and he thinks that the caucus should be subject to the state's open meeting laws. He's called in the long run to have a third caucus for people who would rather look at the bill without the party's looking glass. Thompson said his job as legislature has become harder since leaving the caucus. He now has to read the bills on his own instead of hearing a party member from the committee say whether it's a good bill or bad bill. He sometimes has to track down to a specialist in state government to tell him what a bill will or do or dig out from a law book. But Thompson believes he's doing what the people will elect him and want to do, take a longer, closer look at bills before he goes them to the vote. There still will be issues that divide Democrat and Republican, and Thompson said on the issues he lines up with the Republicans, but he's hoping to remove some of the politics from the legislature. Some 6 or 8 senators and handful of representatives have been attending an independent thinkers meeting. More Democrats like Republicans, some like Aberdeen Senator Jim Lawler, a Democrat thinks Thompson is a good idea. I think you ought to base your vote on whether it's a good bill, not moving on to damage one political party or the other political party. I think that's the wrong way the legislature, Lawler said. But others who attend said Senator Mel Olson, Democrat Mitchell, who attends, said he will always attend the Democratic caucus as well. I mean, where you talk about bills is essential, Olson said.
It is 6:13 in the evening and it's dark out there on Mason Road.
Other priorities may stall a plan to renovate the Central High School as a joint city school district learning center. The Aberdeen City Commissioner on Monday put off until next Tuesday the decision whether to support and plan to turn the 85-year-old high school into the new Aberdeen Recreational and Cultural Center. The Aberdeen Park and Recreation Board supports the $2 million plan, but State Commissioner Tom Hopper said that the other city priorities should be considered first, such as a water treatment plant renovation or replacement. I think the plan has a lot of merit, but I also think we need a dose of reality, said Hopper after a lengthy presentation of central floor plans by park officials. Taxpayers are up to their eyeballs, and Texas Hopper said for joint bond issues floated to pay for a new high school and to convert Central to a learning center. The city needed to consider the $16 million would it take to revamp the water treatment plant out of $30 million it would take to replace the aging facility. The city recently received bad news about the water treatment plant that it was only a few years to decide how best to meet upcoming stricter federal guidelines for treating city water. But is the city going to get the money? How are we going to get for the public gas for an increase in taxes? Fund Southern nations, knowing that we are not too long in the future, we don't have to do something about the water plant. The school board supports a plan to build a new high school north of the Central building and convert Central as City Learning Center. That would take a lesser percentage of a vote approval to okay tax bond to a new school and City Recreation Center, and then would be for just the school. The commission repeated and postponed its vote till the 9 a.m. Tuesday city meeting in the top area technical school at 6:40. No, Avenue Southwest, the regular Monday meeting is postponed because of the President's Day holiday. Offering business on Monday, the commission approved an ordinance updating the city's uniform building code. The commission approved one of the national 1994 uniform budgeting code used by Rapid City and many other cities in the state. It is less strict regarding the number of plumbing fixtures needed for the building than the one code that the city was using. The code from the 19th National Association of Retired Federal Employees State, introduced by the city department supervisors, approved by application for malt beverage license for James M. Brill during the business as Jim Brill Liquor, 2012 Avenue Southwest. Learned that airport manager Brian Ricks, Mayor Tim Rich, and city attorney Tom Tolman when they negotiated for airspace rights with property owners north of the Aberdeen Regional Airport, approving the 12-month extension by installing on the sidewalk at Circle Drive for Golden Development. Approved bids for Les Chevrolet for 2 half-ton pickups, one for $15,990 and the other for $16,990. The difference for trade and balance approved. A tandem truck bid for Crawford Trucks for $39,850 and from the Northern Truck Equipment for the Box of Noise for $9,942. Approved lottery notice for the Yeldu Shrine Foot Patrol and CCL Lee School Fund Night. 2 Aberdeen convenience store clerks who allegedly failed to report an attack that left a developmentally disabled man burned had their court dates continued to February 26. The case says against Bridget C. Hoffer, 23 at 403 22nd Avenue, and Tiffany Begler, 18 and 616 South Park Street, were scheduled for later this month. Hoffer and Begler were worked at S&R Food Market, allegedly watched a co-worker allegedly give the 63-year-old victim vodka laced coffee, squared a lighter fuel in his buttocks, and set the man on fire.
During the course of today, still is at this time.
Hoffer is charged with false reporting authorities for allegedly lying during the investigation. She is also charged with failing to report a felony. Begler is charged with failing to report a felony. The co-worker Brock H. Fisher, 20 of 1020 North 2nd Street, is charged with aggravated assault, adulteration of food, and false reporting authorities. Fisher is set to make a court appearance on Wednesday. According to an S&R spokesperson, the 3 no longer work at the store. Aberdeen City Commissioner Hal Herbert announced Monday that they will seek re-election during the April 9th city election. Herbert, 48, is nearing the end of his first term on the commission. Terms of 5 years and commission can earn $16,093 per year. I was born and raised in Aberdeen and found it enjoyable to be a part of making the decisions that help determine Aberdeen's future. Herbert said following Monday night's city commission meeting, I think I have a degree of expertise. Now, after I served in a term, I enjoyed the job. Herbert, Vice President of Kebbers Carlson Construction Company, serves as the Commissioner of Police and Fire Department's position he held. For his entire term, candidates must deliver nominating petitions signed by at least 50 registered voters by 5 p.m. March 8th to the Municipal Building, 123 South Lincoln Street, and no candidates have turned the petition yet, according to City Hall spokeswoman. Aberdeen voters have allowed to elect 3 school board members during the April 9th election. To vote, residents must be registered by March 25th. Voter registration deadline for the presidential primary on February 27th was Monday. No injuries occurred when a fire caused minor damages at a mobile home early Saturday, as McIntosh Fire Chief Gary Bubbers said the fire started around the chimney that had tires stuck around it. No one was home at the time. The mobile home was owned by the Arnold Bubbers Ranch. A medley of traditional dishes and sweets flow throughout the homes at this time of the year as families gather to play games, a visit, a feast, a celebration. What? Christmas has come and gone, so what's going on? It's Spring Festival or Chinese New Year or Monday for some members of the Asian community, and a time for a great celebration. And don't forget the antacid. Basically, you can eat from almost midday to the middle of the night. You're continuously eating the Zhao Lei Wang professor at the Northern State University teaches psychology. Ear-shaped dumplings, sweet-filled rice cakes, peanuts, roasted watermelon, and pumpkin seeds, pork, duck, chicken, and fish are part of the feast. Even people had their fill, or they continue to eat, or out of the sheer politeness, Wayne said. Spring Festival of Chinese New Year is a traditional celebration centered around the family. It celebrates the coming of spring. The traditional Chinese calendar is lunar, so the New Year can begin anywhere between January 21st and February 19th. Every year's theme for animal this weekend bids farewell to the year of the pig and welcome the year of the rat. The celebration usually lasts several days. Youngsters play respect to family elders. Men gamble, women prepare dumplings and sweets, and families stay up till late waiting for the New Year. The New Year is a magical time for the children. Calvin Chun, then 29, an NSU mathematics student, remembers playing with firecrackers which drives evil spirits away. The celebration, much like the Western world's Christmas and New Year's holidays combined, said Richard Chang, NSU professor of political science at Wiggins Cheng are among the Aberdeen Asia community who will celebrate the New Year's this weekend. Chang explains that there are about 50 people of Chinese origin in the area, including about 15 Chinese students at NSU. There are 3 important days in the New Year. Chang said small New Year's Eve Saturday, big New Year's Eve Sunday, and New Year's Day. The first 2 days are filled with plans eating and eager people waiting for the New Year. As much of the food is prepared weeks in advance in parts of Asia, many schools and businesses are closed for the holidays. Paper curtains similar to Christmas decorators are drawn doors and windows. Children and adults wear new clothing, and some areas people are not allowed to sweep or wash floors on New Year's Eve lest they sweep their luck out future witches out the door. Chan Fang Zhao, 26, studies English as NSU, a youngster. She said she, like most children, was forbidden to cry during the New Year. When I was young, my mother didn't permit me to cry for New Year's. It was unlucky, Zhao said. Children paying respect to elders is another important tradition. In return for the good behavior, children receive red envelopes filled with New Year's money. The red colors signifies luck and warmth. Zhao's mother continued to give her New Year's money until she was 25. She said with a smile, the money was always in new bills. Mother put it under my pillow when I was asleep. Okay, now on the weather now. Yeah. And here now is Eileen. There.
Toronto had a goal in and a
Say wait, Eileen. Okay, thank you very much, Peter. Current conditions.
over Norway.
Around the region of KELOLAND, it's 44 in Sioux Falls, 49 in Yankton, Vermilion, it's 45 out in Mitchell, 45 in Huron, 39 in Bricks, 41 in Aberdeen, 40 in Watertown, 45 in Pierre, 51 in Rapid City, and 49 in Custer. 30 in Williston, North Dakota, 40 in Dixon, 40 in Bismarck, 37 in Jamestown, 34 in Fargo, 35 in Grand Forks, and 37 in Minot, North Dakota.
Reports beginning on Sunday.
Okay, let's take a look at our forecast around the country. It shows
Lousy weather.
snowy conditions in northern New Hampshire and Vermont and Danforth, upstate and central New York and Danforth, central Pennsylvania. Snow showers in coastal eastern Wisconsin and Illinois and Danforth, northern Indiana and Danforth, western Michigan. Rain showers in southern Arizona and New Mexico and rain showers down in southern Texas. Sunny podcast skies for much of the Rockies here and sunny skies in the northwest and sunny skies in much of the southeast. High pressure centered in the Gulf states. Low pressure in northern Mexico. Warm front from Arizona down for northern Mexico. Warm front in Missouri, searching on Iowa down for western Wisconsin. And cold front from North Dakota up into Minnesota down low pressure here. Alright, let's take a look at our forecast for South Dakota. Go like this. For tonight, mostly cloudy except part cloudy for our east. Low around 15 northeast, around 30. Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies with a chance of snow northwest high from around 30 northeast to near 50 southwest.
A lot of exercise.
Tonight, mostly cloudy for Aberdeen, low around
Okay.
20 degrees. Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies high around 30 degrees.
My first time. Do I have any chance?
North Dakota, tonight, a chance of light snow, freezing rain, west, part cloudy, east, lows from the upper 20s far west to 10 above, northeast corner. Wednesday, a chance of light snow, rain west.
Very good.
Weather ahead, South Dakota, Thursday, chance of snow east, highs in the 20s. Friday, dry, lows from 10 to 20, highs upper 20s, northeast to 40 southwest. Saturday, chance of snow, lows from 10 to 20, highs low 20s to northeast to mid 30s southwest. North Dakota, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, a chance of snow, Saturday, colder, highs 10 to 20, lows 0 to 10 below. Minnesota, Thursday, a few flurries and a turning colder, lows from the single digits below 0 north to 10 above south. Highs from 5 above north to the
He made it look increasing.
low 20s south, Friday, dry and cold, lows from 20 below in the north to around 0 in the south.
And then there are people who go.
Sunset tonight, 5:58 p.m., about 35 minutes from now, and Wednesday, 5:59 p.m. And sunrise Wednesday, 7:37 a.m. and Thursday, 7:36 a.m. And that's gonna be it for the KELOLAND News, 5 o'clock reporting this February 13, 1998. I'm Peter Wiggins alongside Eileen, and we have a good evening. Coming next will be the CBS News with Dan Weber. KELO News will be back at 6 o'clock. Have a good evening.